how do you want to settle down and how do you want to go down? Start also asking yourself, are you ready for it? Because now when you get married, there's also going to be in-laws. As a man, you will now be having a mother-in-law, a sister-in-law, who are coming from the side of your wife. And as a wife also, you'll be having the same, your father, mother-in-law, and siblings from your husband. Welcome back to Karaoke Moments, part of our discussion. You know, we have a discussion that we've been having. So this is continuation of how to prepare for marriage. And today we are going to be seeing, after looking at how to prepare for marriage emotionally and psychologically, today we'll be looking at how to prepare for marriage financially. And part of this journey, it is part of what I have walked in it. So, and it is just to invite you to have a feeling of how to. It's because everybody has their experiences, and I want to welcome you to also share yours, by the way, in the comment. And as we discuss about how to prepare for our marriage financially, it is from the journey of being single, and yes, you're ready, you've gone to school, you're working, you hit your 30, you're continuing to mature, you're not married, and this is both as a man, as a woman, you're still continuing to get married, you have desire to get married, it's not happening, you attain 35 years, you're still going on, maturing, you're counting down. Every time you call for a birthday, you're asking yourself, hey, when am I going to get a man to marry me? When am I going to get a woman to marry? So as you continue, you attain maybe even 40, life is still going on. So as we continue to discuss is, while in the waiting, what are you going to be doing? Are you going just to be stagnant and just watching the stars and watching the moon, watching the sun going down and another one arising? Or are you going to do something? From my perspective, it is important to prepare for marriage. This is to those who have desire to get married. By the way, some people may not have desire to get married. Some of the people even say marriage is not for everyone. So today's video is about those ones who have a desire to get married. And while in the waiting, what do you need to do? So as you continue to prepare, some of the areas that I looked at is, when I look at it, it is important to acknowledge that finances will be part of marriage. And when I say that is because when you get married, as 2 is equals to 1, isn't it? As we had looked in the other video, I'm going to pin it down for you to see what we had discussed in the other one. But we saw that you are supposed to start preparing into 2s, you know, 1 complete single man, 1 complete single woman, making 1 complete union of 2 complete beings. Because this half and half of talking about when people are single, they are half waiting to get another half to get married is what we are trying to demystify and say, no, I think everybody should be complete by the time they are moving on with their life and waiting to get married. So financially, how do we prepare? Our video today is, how do we prepare for marriage financially while you're single? And have you subscribed to Karaoke Moment? If you haven't, kindly subscribe, comment, like our video, share with your friends, turn on notifications so that you can be able to receive our videos as we continue. So preparing for marriage financially, 1 is to acknowledge that, as I've said, money is not yours at this point when you get into marriage. Once you call the husband, once you call the wife, money is a perspective of 2 people. Whatever you've been planning alone, investing alone and making decisions on money, it will be changed now. There will be a, why are we using money this way? Why can't we use this money? So prepare yourself psychologically, emotionally, that when it comes to finances, it will be a matter of 2 people. And learn to share. If you're not able to share, with even maybe yourself, by the way, you know, there are some people who are not even able to share with themselves. Honestly, you can't even treat yourself. You can't even buy yourself anything. You can't even decide, oh, today I feel like I want to buy a nice dress, or I want to take a good meal outside, or I just want to go for a holiday. If you can't even use monies on yourself, it will be, I think, challenging for you to love even your neighbor. And for those who believe in Bible, where it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you need to love yourself first for you to be able to expedite the same love to someone else. And this is your fiance all the way to, okay, you can start by calling the boyfriend, girlfriend when you're dating. Then you can graduate them to to fiancé or fiance. As you're getting married, they become husband and wife. So if you learn to share, that will be kind by knowing how to share with yourself. And you'll not find it difficult even to share with this person who is coming into your life. How about when you're single? Maybe you're riding in career, your finances are good. You can also decide to share with the needy. Maybe you can get an orphan who is needy, or just a widow, or just someone that you can be able to support your finances. If you learn how to share, it's going to be very easy for you to share even with other people. Honestly, it is. If you can get, for example, it's Christmas, just call a few needy, maybe children who cannot even afford shoes, buy for them. It's going to help you to know how to love others and to share. This is part of preparing for marriage financially. Another area that I think it is important for you as you prepare to get married when it comes to finances is for you to acknowledge that yes, you are growing. Yes, age is just continually from 30, from 25, from 40, all the way you're riding. How about building yourself as well? What are you doing with your finances as well? Invest. It is okay for you to invest. Invest in anything that you want to. You can invest maybe in land. You can invest in a house. There are these myths that sometimes you hear people saying, oh, how about now you're climbing maybe you're expanding in finances, you're just getting wealthy, you're getting properties. Especially for women, there's the stereotype of who is going to marry you. No, let me tell you, some men are not scared. Whether you're driving what type of a car, whether you're staying in a big house, whether you are a professor or maybe a CEO, a man who loves you and who believes in themselves will still come to you. So meanwhile, hey, while in the waiting financially, build yourself, get yourself assets, buy house, buy car, actually go back to school, get a couple of degrees or maybe some areas that you've been wanting to. It helps. It helps. I remember when I was still single. I went back to school at maybe I wanted a certain degree. So at 38, I went back to school. And one of my friends, former classmate in primary school, I remember, we met and he asked me, hey, you are going back to school at our age, because we were classmates. I said, yes. When are you going to get married? And I said, let me tell you, I will get married one day. And then he said, you're scaring off men, but you're going back to school. And I remember I told him, I said, oh, so-and-so, he was a man. I said, you know what, so-and-so, a man who will be interested with me as I'm continuing to study. Who knows, maybe a professor in those universities or another student who has come will also be interested and we can get married. What I mean is you don't have to be limited. And it doesn't mean that if you don't acquire much, like if you're not wealthy, if you're not having money, if you're not getting a good house or riding in your career, you will get married. I don't think so. Otherwise, you should have been married before. To me, marriage is really, it's just God who can ordain it. You cannot say, if I am a poor woman, I'll get married. It doesn't go like that. I think it is about, it will happen. And it doesn't mean that if you're a woman who has not gone to school or who has not invested or who is not rich, your marriage will last better than that one who is rich. To me, I feel, no, anybody, according to the rules of marriage, and also God has to be part of it and to ordain. That is how a marriage can be sustained. It's not about money. By the way, I've seen even people who are rich and they are not happy in their marriages. So I don't think it's about money, and money cannot be seen as part of what can make someone, by not having it, is what will make it succeed. So as you're continuing to build yourself, you're building yourself in career, you're building yourself in assets, you're helping the needy, you also ask yourself, how do you want to settle down and how do you want to go down? Start also asking yourself, are you ready for it? Because it's going to come in a moment whereby, remember, maybe you've been thinking about your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. Now, when you get married, there's also going to be in-laws. As a man, you'll now be having a mother-in-law, a sister-in-law, who are coming from the side of your wife. And as a wife also, you'll be having the same, your father, mother-in-law, and siblings from your husband. Remember, now you're becoming one big family. You can't be able to say, I'll only buy my mom a pair of shoes and not buy my mother-in-law. So it's important for you to prepare, because why I'm saying this is because sometimes you're caught up in thinking, and this is a slogan that sometimes people are caught up in saying, that as a woman, your money is your money, and for your husband, his money is our money. I think that is shooting yourself, because it doesn't help. Some of these slogans, I know they are what we say cliches. They are really used until they sound real. But if you look at it, what if at some point he even has a business and the business goes under? What if he's employed and his employment, maybe his company closes, or maybe his cause redundant? You know, sometimes when companies are shaping up or they are sold, someone is not because they are bad, and maybe they are just rendered jobless. So what will happen if you've been saying that his money is our money? So does it mean that house bills will not be paid? People will not eat? It's very, I think, sad at that point to change your notion and your narrative when things happen and your husband maybe becomes sick, he doesn't have the money. For you to change at that point, I feel it's a little bit different. Why not in your singlehood, as you're maturing, start telling yourself, this money will be ours? And you know how I look at life. This money that we keep on holding on to, when you die, even people who never even struggled, they will come and eat, and they will decide on how to use it when you're not there. What you've been keeping and thinking, oh, this is my money, I can't give it to my husband, I can't give it to my children. When you die, they are the ones who will decide. The casket you go in, whether it's expensive or cheap. They are the people who did not even work hard for it. They will decide. They can even sell your houses, sell your cars, and within a month, all your wealth that you've acquired maybe for 40, 50 years is gone. So to me, when I look at it, don't hold on to money as if it is really something that is here and it will never go. To me, it is a means. It's a means to the end. It helps us to meet our ends when you look at it. So help yourself by starting to plan and to tell yourself that it is a medium, that you're going to use it as a medium and not as something that you want to hold to. And when is the right time to think about that? When you are not married, because you can be able to plan for it. And when you look at it, by the way, does a lot of money make marriages go on well? Does a man or a woman dating a wealthy, okay, let me put it this way. When a boyfriend is dating a wealthy girl, does it mean that dating will be good and they end up into marriage? And the vice versa. When a girl is dating a rich man, does it mean it will end up getting into marriage? Think about it even in the other way. When a couple is rich, does it mean their marriage is good? Not necessarily true. We have some rich people who cry every time. We have some poor people who, just because of the joy, because of being in agreement, because of being in unison in their thoughts and in their plans, they even agree so much, and they're just enjoying life. At least they're in good health. At least they can be able to afford a meal. At least their children are going to school. They have a shelter of their head. They have the basic needs. And yet some people who have amassed millions and millions, in maybe sometimes even within the country and abroad and in other places, they can still be crying and not happy. And even we've seen even the so-called rich celebrities, even maybe divorcing and separating and having pains in their marriage. So I think when we look at that, it's just preparation as we prepare emotionally, psychologically. Hey, let's also financially be able to prepare and ask ourselves, where are we going? And when also we look at that, there comes as someone is preparing for this day that we call the wedding day. How are you preparing for your wedding as a single person? When you start now dating and you're in courtship and you agree, you two, the man and the woman, now you're in courtship and your relationship is becoming very serious and you want to get married. How are you preparing for it? Start saving for your wedding. Start saving for your wedding, both of you. Start keeping some money. And even when you're single, when you feel, oh, this is how I would like my marriage to be, just start saving money. Because I've seen sometimes some people get really sore, really bitter with wedding and said, oh, people didn't support me in my wedding. Or yes, sometimes you even lose your friends and say they never supported you, they never gave you money for your wedding. I think that narrative, we need to change and prepare for it. Yes, where sometimes people can be in need, they need support. We need to support each other and to boost them. But I mean, at times it's a little bit awkward, and I'm saying this with humbleness, but it's a little bit awkward whereby you find the man himself getting married. It's not really because he doesn't have the money, but he didn't plan well. He can't afford his suit. The lady cannot even afford their gown. Or maybe they budget for millions of weddings, and yet even 1,000 is important. And remember, by the way, marriage is not built by a wedding day. Marriage, the real marriage, the real story comes after that one day, because marriage is after the wedding day, what is continuing to happen. So we should prepare more about the marriage other than the wedding. Wedding is a one-day event. People will come, they'll eat, they'll dance. Like we there love to dance in weddings. But you see, these still people, when they go out in the evening for their honeymoon, they are starting their marriage or not there. So that is when they need to work out more and save more for their marriage other than their wedding. So I want to welcome you as you continue part of it. Just don't be scared. I remember when I was single, I wanted to have friends who can support me in areas that I wasn't very good at. And now as I continue maturing, I felt finances, it was not one of my very strong points. And what I did was I have a very good friend who is male and was a former schoolmate, and he's very good with finances. And I worked with him. He helped me. Every time I would want to acquire anything, even if it's a small piece of land or anything that I wanted to acquire that needed masculine touch and brains, I would call him. I would even inform the wife, and we will go to the place that I want to. He would tell me, this place is not good, don't invest in it, or this place is good. He would help me, and we walked along the journey. What I mean is, if you're not good in an area, when you're maturing, even I know sometimes it's just a car, you're not good, and you have maybe a friend, be it a male, be it a female, who is better than you. Invest in the person financially by making sure they are helping you to buy a good car, helping you to buy a good house, helping you to buy, because that is part of the preparation financially as we wait for this big day that is called wedding. So I welcome you. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe. Yeah, hit the subscription button, share our videos, keep on watching till we get to get into our next discussion as we ask ourselves, how do you prepare for marriage? As we get on to knowing more and more about, yes, I got married after 40 years. So what about it? Yeah, we are still en route to that. Till we get to meet again, we love you here at Karaoke Moments. I bid you bye. See you then.